Really, people this. But good morning, world, and welcome. It's Business Friday.
So, Taiwo, you shared a very interesting with me on WhatsApp. Can you describe what it is and it's pretty relevant to us here for people who commute on Lagos roads. This particular truck that very futuristic. Well, I won't say it's futuristic, but describe the truck video that you shared with us.
I mean, I call it more functional than futuristic.
Okay.
So the truck actually has right at the back of the truck, there's a massive LED display that shows you what's going on in front of the truck. So they've put trucks onto the truck that then displays what the road conditions are ahead of the truck. So if you're behind the truck and you want to overtake the truck, you can see what the oncoming train is. You can see who and so on and so forth like that. So people, because overtaking trucks is one of the biggest challenges that a lot of road users have, so they tend to either slow down when they get beside the truck, or they're constantly pressing their honking their horn, and the drivers never
all right, let's move. Inserting as my tama earth tremors. Yeah, people were tweeting about it, and there were calls made to FEMA, the FCT's, the Emergency Management Agency. They now came out with this, and unfortunately, their response actual fact as to what happened. They were giving a number of things, right, guys? They said one, it could have been an earth tremor. They said two, it could have been the quarrying, the mining that's been going on in the area. There's been a lot of rock blasting that's been taking place there, and so that could have resulted in that. And then they now issued some safety tips. If your building is shaking, you should run outside. My question is, where are our seismologists and geologists in places? These people are supposed to be able to study these tremors and tell us exactly what's going on. They're abroad.
There's no budget.
Canada.
They're in Canada, yeah?
Yeah, that's the biggest contention for jobs these days.
Yeah,
so when people are resigning, it's no longer going to other companies. It's actually going together.
They're taking also, but it was pretty scary for a number of people yesterday that they experienced. I mean, Dr. Joe Abba said he also tweeted as well that he experienced the same, thought it was an explosion. There was all sorts of speculations that were rife.
I think they were FEMA, what they're called. Yeah, so I think it was only in the first statement that they were not as explicit and said that the possible cause of the earth shakings might be as a result of earth tremors. But the others, they were quite explicit and said that it is a sign of seismic movement within the earth. So they were just really going back to textbook definitions here.
Right.
The other two, and says rocks and may be due to rock blasting and mining activities. I really want to find out where mining activities in those areas. At least I think I know Maitama, at least to a certain extent. I don't know who's doing rock blasting there. That wouldn't have been arrested.
Perhaps not there, but we had seen lots of things like this, because a lot of the illegal mining activities that have been going on in different areas have been causing tremors, actually. And Abuja has been one of the sites that was listed. And I have to find the newspaper article that spoke about it, but it's been an issue actually for a while.
So okay. It's not just an earthquake out of...
No, but
it could have been. They didn't confirm that, but I'm just pointing out that we do know that these things have been happening. Illegal mining has been causing problems.
But see, I don't want to put all the blame on mining, though, because let me throw this out there. Somebody sent out a tweet saying, I learned recently from an article posted by the Nigerian Institute of Structural Engineers that Nigeria is actually seismically active with several recorded cases in the past. Said the most recent one before what happened in Abuja was in 2016, where from structural damage when there was a tremor there. And I now responded to him because he said he would post the research paper if anybody's interested. I responded, he now tweeted it, and I retweeted it. We'll retweet that again for you guys to read. This was at the Department of Geology at University. The title was Tremors in Nigeria and the Relation to Failure of Engineering Structures, by a Dr. Adepelumi Adekunle Abraham. The point of the research paper that was done at the university was that Nigeria actually does have seismic activity, and the none of the buildings that have been built here have not been built to the standard where they can withstand the sorts of tremors. So mining activity and quarrying, it looks like, because I remember the Kaduna thing that happened. A number of people reported it. Isn't it something that should be a major concern for us?
Well, so if it's as a result of seismic activities, then it means it's not something in control. So it means that we have to place safety and on emergency management.
Right.
We've done terribly in those regards. So right, it doesn't get worse than I've witnessed tremors a few times in my life,
right.
Maybe once or twice. But I think the ongoing, the seem to be we need to look at something that we're not doing correctly or we're not doing well. We just as been to be a site for rock blasting, basically, because of the rocks around the city. Even Kaduna and for illegal mining over the years. So people just try to get diamonds because the government said they have diamonds.
Diamonds in the ground.
Yeah, more than South Africa. So it means people want to go and look for those diamonds and get them before any person sees. So you can see some of these things as in relation to human activities, but not just strictly natural. But the important thing for us is that we need to know how to respond when there is a situation like this. We need to know how emergency services typically would respond and issues like this. I think.
All right, yeah.
One quick thing. I mean, so question the rise is it due to human natural
causes, right?
That's the question. That's the question that hasn't been answered before we then determine what. Because if it's due to human activity, there are ways to regulate these things. If it's natural causes, emergency mode.
All right, Damio sends a message. Says, "Morning, guys. Tech Friday or natural disaster Friday?" The question was Nigeria's seismologist. Seismologist is supposed to study seismic activity. We're supposed to have this, and unfortunately, again, our FEMA was just speculating on what this could be. The seismologists are in Canada. That was in Ife. Apart from a few we have already on their way to Canada, the others don't even want to study such courses again. Chai. Let's see here. We also have a message. I think it was on Bolaji. Archaeologists are in banks working as tellers and marketers. Chai, Bolaji. You're mean.
Are they paying? What are they paying them?
I know, right? Not paying them too much. Taiwo, what we're touching on SARS now. Police, I think you freshly pressed.
Yeah, we did.
The whole attention on SARS. It says here that the police want to deploy illegal detention. I was trying to figure out how this is supposed to work. They said they have here a custody kind of custody management system to check abuse by men of SARS in the area of illegal detention. So apparently, this device is supposed to be configured to alert us once a suspect is detained. How is that supposed to work?
It's just a fact. I mean, it prevents anything and it doesn't caution anything, because at least the solution will only work if they
and somebody has
to look in their till whenever they're ready to release you. Someone's going to know it's 48 hours.
Exactly. I was wondering how this thing is supposed to work.
I struggle with.
Fisayo, how is it supposed to work? How does this device work?
I think I'm not necessarily surprised with statements like this, because that even the police hierarchy don't understand how these things happen.
Right.
So, well, I don't like let's just say something, because that's as
an announcement.
Yeah, so we are putting technology to drive and just.
Here's that they're going to have dashboard cameras for that you have it on your uniforms as you go out, so that you have to wear your uniforms first of all, because the biggest issue is unidentifiable. You're not usually wearing your mufti, you don't get cars. They're usually driving unmarked dampos, which is a bit frightening, because as a kidnap, maybe start from that.
Even our judiciary system doesn't seem to even allow evidence. So even if you record a scene, that as an evidence. So again, there are a lot of things that we need to look
Reform,
at.
yeah.
Yes, but before the judiciary, before you get to that level, at least there is recorded within the
It's
disciplinary procedures internally within the police, because a lot of the issue is, oh well, we don't, right? Let's deny it.
I think there's a lot more we need to
My
do
word
that.
against
Before you entrust that, it takes a certain level of responsibility and discipline to be able to allow your body come to work, allow and so forth like that. You know, so but that discipline, honestly, I don't see currently being there because of the streets and just manhandle them. I think it's a massive gap between them. You know, they need to make them feel like they're human beings first of all.
To be fair, they did say they would be retraining the same article, so at least that's important. Showing is our final comment this morning. He says, I know one of our geologists in the US. He's a nurse now. Crying face.
No, by studying the tremors in human body.
Oh my goodness.
Aninka says, I had my temporary driver's license on me. This police guy stopped me, demanded for the license, said because my 2 weeks had elapsed, the license had expired. I told him he doesn't know his job.
Oh wow,
For a license have expired, you need to go to the FRSC portal to check the number, and then he can conclude if it's expired. Yinka, did you chop slap after? But we're done. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Fantastic stuff. Coming up next, we got some great music lined up for you, and then 7:30, it's Freshly Pressed. Good morning.